Got my hand back there, but I couldn't get much else.
Let's see if they have HDMI cable here. They probably don't even have a cable anymore. They do, but it's about 5 foot long.
They've got AV cables coming up.
So the only connector to the TV now is the HDMI connector?
Well, he just pulled some RCA jacks out from back there. But I think they want us to only use the HDMI connector.
There used to be one over there along the sidewall.
Yeah, it's not there anymore. I don't think my cable would be long enough to change my cable. Okay, there's an HDMI port right there. Maybe I can get it. So I'll have to move the laptop.
So there's an HDMI port on the side of the TV?
Yeah, maybe I can get it in there. Maybe. I don't know what HDMI number this is. Okay. You know, do you have male and female? on your HDMI. I said,
Hey,
if
it's
you
good.
do,
Technical difficulties. I forgot about the Thursday change.
I'll bet you nobody has told the front desk about the problem.
Yeah, I'm gonna go down and tell them. But, you know,
So you think it was clipped with a walker? Okay.
yeah,
If-
maybe a walker
if
guy.
your
yeah.
connection to there is good to here,
Okay.
we only need to go from here to there.
Yeah, I just got it plugged in, so let's see if we can,
Okay.
let's see if we can find it. That's probably, would you think the side one would be HDMI 1 or 3?
Do I think that I need to do some setting changes now? Because we didn't start it? Because it didn't find it? I don't know. It's still weird.
Gotta watch out for those walkers, man. They can be pretty brutal.
And it's still not seen, so it's probably not. Let's try 3.
So can you see what the brand of the TV is, Leroy?
I got it. We're on HDMI 3. We can see
Oh.
everything.
Hey,
It's a little weird, but here it goes. I think we're on the laptop camera, if I'm not mistaken.
you're on one that's looking straight down the table. It's pointed straight.
Well, the laptop is kind of,
Yeah,
the laptop is kind of facing the table right now because. Yeah, I'm still not seeing this camera.
Okay.
we're not looking with that camera, I can tell you for sure.
Yeah. It's the laptop camera.
I used my analog hand.
Well, I set
You don't
the,
want to use your digital. Yeah.
I set the other camera in front of it. That was a pretty good test too. It should work. And we're still on the snowball for the. Yep. So the hit the wrong thing. It's so weird. So weird to use a mouse like this. I'm using the mouse sideways. It's so
Oh, yeah.
weird. That's so weird.
You need a real mouse?
No, we're good. I'll get used to it. I'll deal with it.
I've got a real mouse.
We're just going to be limited with what we have.
In those touch pads, I don't know really good with them anyway.
No? Okay. Try here.
Well, I can see you guys just fine.
Yeah, it'll work. It's all good.
Okay,
Your default microphone changed.
so is it picking up the microphone off the TV or something else?
It's set up to come off the snowball,
Okay,
so. I don't know. It's just, it is what it is.
okay.
It is what it is at this point.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Yes, and you're coming out of the HDMI, out of the TV now, so.
Is there a lag?
No,
Okay,
and if there is one, it's very, very small. So. It was just a technical issue of getting that cable hooked up to the right thing.
okay.
And the cable, of course, we use now because the HDMI is in the table itself. So the cable we use is short.
So you need to schlep a little longer HDMI cable next time.
You know, I am starting to carry around a whole bunch of stuff again.
Some reason.
I had this all worked out. I carry a laptop, I carry a camera, I carry a snowball, I'm done.
Yeah.
I've got extra laptops, I'm carrying around stuff again.
You got a locker here.
Yeah. Just leave all the stuff.
So you need a cart there, Leroy.
Yeah,
One of those rolling
That-
carts.
that's what we need some bins here that can lock up. I think we figured out the bin thing. Let's see what it is. So he's got 8 units that can take these drawers. And they're like medical units.
Well, I sent you an email link
Yeah.
and that'll come up.
Maybe I will scroll the mouse, maybe it will.
So you got the big and the small robots today?
Yeah.
I did. I brought a bunch of robots.
Okay.
Very useful.
Well, the little one was going pretty good last week.
Nice job at embedding egg crates.
Yeah.
Are you sure this mouse works?
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. It worked last week. Through a library IT guy.
There it goes. That's just weird.
It didn't like one port.
It didn't like one of the ports.
This is my story, I'm telling you. My new computer drives me crazy. I just go fish and I go bloop. Okay, that's the one. Plug in that one. Nope. That one, yes. Okay. I got 2. It's one of the 2 on the back will work. Won't do it.
Well, and it's generally the most inaccessible one.
Well, yeah. Yeah, we need somebody to explain that to us. Yeah.
There is no explanation for anything. It just
USB
is what
world
it
has
is.
always been interesting, and whether it worked with a hub is a crapshoot too. I got a USB
Yeah,
hub.
some things you have to power the hub before it will work.
Yeah, and I've got a powered hub.
Yeah.
And guess what? It's still a crapshoot.
This is what those drawers came out of. They're stackable. It's a medical thing. You can put slots in there to divide it up. They're really, really nice and they're free to a good home.
Where'd they come from?
Where did they come from? 1600 Daniel Court. They were out for the trash in my neighborhood. Before that, they appear to have been in a medical facility that had cleaned them out. I think they're in good shape. They look clean.
They're usable. They're usable for parts or
Yeah,
small parts.
Probably a good idea to give them a good hose down in case they had any samples of microbes in them.
I think they were confined to drug storage and they have been kicking around in my garage for at least 6 months, if not longer.
Yeah, I don't get the impression that those were
Biosamples.
bio samples, 'cause usually you see bio stickers on them and all kinds of other stuff.
So somebody put this out for the recycle or what?
No, they had it in the trash.
But they're nice, they're nice cabinets. You can mount them up underneath something if you wanted to.
Or they.
Are they
stack
stackable?
those things.
They're stackable.
And they interlock so that they're not gonna slide off of each other. I'm just thinking that somebody who has a need
A bunch of parts.
for parts, like the little blue parts drawers that are
Yeah,
everywhere.
and the slots are either horizontal or vertical, or you can jiggle them around so you can make little compartments inside of them.
Egg crate.
Yeah. So it's a nice setup.
Yeah, it would be 28 compartments if you egg crated them. I'm still waiting for somebody to jump up and say, "Hey, Mom, we got that one."
I need them. You know who might actually get some benefit from those is Ray.
Yeah.
Ray might actually get some benefit from those.
Feel free to send Ray that email and say, would you like to have these? Because I'll deliver them to him in Middletown.
If you show him the nest of them put together, it might sell him. He might be gone.
Well, that would presume that I can actually get into my garage.
Oh, yeah.
and
Which may or may
get
not be
to
possible, I see.
There's a little convertible in the garage, but I'm not gonna back out into the rain.
Oh,
So you also have Pioneer speakers
I have a
and
Bose subwoofer, a
okay,
Pioneer subwoofer,
okay,
a Pioneer central speaker, and
A-
two.
a Yamaha,
And,
subwoofer.
okay, and they're not powered, they're passive. And there's also a Yamaha AV receiver. But it's not HDMI, it's RCA jacks.
it looks like it was a good receiver back in the day.
Yeah. And I have a remote for that.
And the woofer, I need something relatively small, about like that. I don't know, if it's big, I can't do that.
No, it's not, there's two of them. There's the Pioneer. And it's a little wider, about that tall and about that long. The Bose is narrower, a little taller, and maybe a little deeper.
Which one sounds better?
Hmm?
Which one sounds better?
I
Oh, the
can't tell
Bose.
the difference.
Okay.
I have two powered subwoofers. And my Sony HDMI has a separate output just for powered subs. So when I connect, these are all acquired things that I have just picked up over time. And
I'll do the Bose and I'll speak for the Bose,
okay,
but yeah. That's fine. I got a subwoofer, it's okay, and I got an amp. But I need the subwoofer, would be nice.
and I sucked all the pictures right off of this phone.
Yeah, geez.
They're on
I'll get them.
they're on the internet. Okay. So that is not in the car, but I will be happy to bring it.
No, okay, good deal. It's not a big deal. I've got a subwoofer now, but It's a Radio Shack and it's in bad shape. Not Radio Shack. Actually, worse than that, worse than Radio Shack. Walmart.
There's,
Yeah.
and probably hiding. Then we've got the Pioneer. Something, that's the speaker.
And there's a central speaker.
And a blurry picture of a Pioneer.
Yeah, that's me.
Is it- I don't think Pioneer's around anymore, is it?
And there's I don't know,
That's the sun.
the sub. And there's the Yamaha. That thing looks like it was expensive back in the day. Natural sound stereo receiver. Man, if I still had my component rack, I would take that, but
Yeah. I wish I had room for it. We got rid of our receiver. We don't have one anymore.
Yeah.
We got rid
I,
of,
I listen to everything online now.
yep.
Well, I got rid of all of our CDs and put them on the computer.
Yeah.
And then I output through a sound card to a receiver, and then that goes to speakers. It's between a friend of mine in Kansas City and I, we've got or had like thousands of CDs. It's just in the trash, I was talking about trash one. They've thrown out an additional 29 audio CDs.
I think our general theme today is get rid of stuff.
Yeah. That's true, yeah. But see, here we go. I've already got one that I'm wanting to get rid of. It's a Walmart now. For Bose, I just pick the Walmart and put the Bose right there. Yeah. And I've got a $900 amp speaker that's this tall and that wide and that deep. Okay, it's got a 300-watt amplifier in it that's just for the bass, and it's not impressive at all. My Walmart speaker sounds better than this guy.
You overdriving it?
No,
No.
the 300-watt amplifier is only for the subwoofer, and it's a stupid 8-inch subwoofer. It's ported, but the deal is you can get pretty good bass out of it, but then the main speaker has no amplifier in it. So I've got an amplifier and it picks up the amplifier and you can drive the subwoofer pretty good. But 8 inches is just not good for a conventional. You need 10 inches for a subwoofer or something.
At least.
Or special, like Bose technology with it. Bose probably has the technology to do a smaller subwoofer.
They're using waveguides.
Oh, is that what? Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it sounds so good, because they're
Okay.
About 2 years ago, the same dumpster, I looked in there. And there was a guitar head, a PD 6505. Now, I don't know anything about guitars or music, but my brother-in-law says, oh yeah, those are heavy metal. People love that. He said, I wouldn't need one unless I was gonna make my family's ears bleed. So I carted it around in the car for a while and dropped it off at his house. He says, oh, I'll find somebody who'll use it. And took it over. He says, I'm pretty sure, he'll have to replace the tube or whatever. No, they plugged it in. It was ready to go. They're still selling on Amazon for like $2,400.
If you get something like that in that you want to turn, let me know. Gail turns stuff off of Amazon and eBay and some other places. So if you want to flip something,
Well, I put stuff on Craigslist.
that's small.
Yeah, and
Okay.
generally speaking, there'll be people that will be interested in it. Nobody wanted those. No one wanted the Yamaha. Okay, the Bose, the Pioneer speakers, the Yamaha with remote, I put $20 on it.
Wow. Has
It's-
does the receiver have an amplifier in it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's what?
Yeah, that's it, right there.
Okay. Cool.
Now, I didn't put any pictures of the back,
Yeah.
but it's got the output for center side, it's set up 5.1.
Yeah, it's it's back in the day, of course, what are we at? We're at 7 point something or 9.
7.2, well, it may be higher now.
Yeah,
Okay, put me in for the Yamaha. Okay. Now, here we go. I've got an amplifier now. I'm gonna take this and put it under the TV and take the amplifier, which is a China. No question.
yeah.
knockoff.
I don't think a lot of.
We're making progress here.
I
We just have to negotiate the Pioneer speakers.
don't think a lot of people are using Craigslist anymore, are they?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, the
Facebook Marketplace?
if you can't get rid of it, send me the ad and I'll put it up and have Gabe put it on eBay or, well, shipping's gonna kill you on eBay and those guys.
The Yamaha is 18 pounds.
Oh, yeah,
So the people who are asking $50 for it, they also want $50 shipping.
yeah, okay, yeah, okay, well, yeah, I'll pick that and
There-
yeah, the boats.
there's Facebook and there's what's that other one?
Let go?
Let Go.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people use Let Go now. Yeah,
Recognition on what you took a picture of and tell them, put the description in.
Yeah,
And
and-
skateboard, you know,
and it's local or semi-local,
yeah.
so you're dealing with
And I
no
thought
shipping.
I was making progress, not being deeply rooted in the 60s anymore. So Craigslist obviously has passed me by.
I mean, back in the day, Craigslist was great. I used to sell all kinds of stuff on Craigslist, but here lately, it just seems like either you've got the wrong stuff or nobody's looking to buy, and they're looking at like Let Go or Facebook Marketplace, something that they can pick their phone up and go, oh yeah, I'll take that. Oh yeah, I'm like 5 miles away from you. Okay. So I would probably abandon Craigslist and go with something else.
Well, it's one of those things that I don't feel like work really, really hard to get stuff away.
Yeah, part of it's the recycler and
Yeah. Or have people call from Dayton, will you deliver them? It's free. Don't come and get it.
Yeah. I know I had a weird home built CNC machine that I
Mhm.
bought from an auction 4 or 5 years ago, and we stuck it on Craigslist and we stuck it on Let Go, and the only people that responded about it were the ones on Let Go. And we had, I mean, really, if you really get down to it, we had it like $40 cheaper on Craigslist. And nobody even looked at it. We sold it. I mean, it went away, but you know, it went away because people were looking for weird things, I guess. We even said, this is weird. We don't even really know how it works. It was a home built CNC machine. That's all we knew.
What you been up to? Anything good?
No, got
No?
some, little PWM controls for a 12-volt fan. Fan was just too loud. So it had high and low speed, so it's like, okay. Put a
Yeah.
variable speed control on it, it was like $3. So buy two.
Cool.
You up to anything, Art?
Getting ready to fly back to Fremont. Everything goes according to schedule. And the weather maintains, we'll be leaving Dark 100 Tuesday morning, so.
Mhm.
Yeah, you weren't here for very long this time.
Just over the holidays. We were here mid-November to mid-January, so just a day or two beyond, a couple of days beyond 2 months. So, yeah, we're going on a new cycle now. We're gonna do every 3 months.
You can listen to radio stations here or listen to radio stations there without any foolishness using that Radio Garden app. You just start it up and select the city and you can have favorites and just say, boom, I want to listen to whatever. You can listen to your stations in California or whatever you want to listen to. It's Radio Garden. It's that look in your news and there's a
Yeah.
link to it in your news. Pretty
Yeah,
interesting. You wanna listen to Radio Kiev, you can listen to that. You want to listen to Radio Moscow? Okay. You want to listen to BBC out of London? Boom, they have local London, LBC, London
Oh.
BBC, LBC out of London, if you want to listen to that. Whatever. North Korea. You want to listen to North Korea? Do you speak North Korea? Boom,
A little rusty, but
yeah.
If I wanted to listen to radio, and I
Is it the
couldn't
same?
understand, I'd tune into Kentucky.
Okay, you're ready, you get.
I'm sorry, that was not fair.
It's,
Oh, we have some new rule about being fair.
no, nothing like that.
Fair, fair.
We'd have to give up some abuse if they wanted to be, we love abuse.
Well,
Of course, that'd be better for me because I get a lot of abuse, but yeah.
I figured that if you're not willing to accept abuse, you shouldn't dish it out.
Yeah,
But we'd like to share and share alike, you know.
so is this the big one, Leroy?
Yes, sir.
So
Yeah.
it's doing a lot better.
I brought the remote for it this time.
Ah, okay.
Okay, this is Radio Garden. And you just select the area you want to listen to. I think that's London right there or something. Caterham, wherever that is, but just, it has the whole world. I mean, there's the whole world. And you say, show all the radio stations for that area, do all stations. Not many in that city. But you know, they have the entire world. And I just go up to select Dayton and select 1290, which I listen to WHIO, it's not 1290, it's 95 something. And click the favorite so you can find it next time. And it's just, if you ever use that free radio connection thing, it's a pain in the butt. And this has no commercials, it's boom. And you're there connected. It's very nice. Okay.
Is this AM, FM, or both?
Well, the 1290, they picked the FM station up there as an FM station. I don't know if they do AM or not. but there are tons of them. There are 800 in London. So, yeah.
Now, I'm gonna go into the selling mode here. I see there's shelves behind you that just look like they really need.
What's this? Oh. Yeah,
The shelves behind you just look like they need a parts cabinet.
yeah, well, they've already got them. I use these green tea boxes I buy my tea in, so but you're probably right. But
Move
then
that bus.
that's doing pretty well there, Leroy.
What you did, yeah.
Yeah. He's trying really hard to get rid of the parts cabinet.
Yeah, well,
I just emailed Ray. so-
it's too late for this trip. I will say that it is. We are in the midst of getting everything ready to depart.
Well, if this was something that you really wanted, I would hold on to it for you for up to however long you'd like.
You should probably clarify that a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give it some thought. Right now, we're in that mode at the last minute where we've got a few dozen things to do and time to do about half of them. So,
Well, just for clarification, these have slots for dropping in dividers. And
okay,
there are approximately 2 inches deep or 2¼ inches deep by 7 by 11½. So
Okay.
you get a pretty good volume out of this. Now, if you have nuts, bolts, screws, nails, or electrical components, it's just the ticket.
okay, I'll keep that in mind. Yeah, I've got a lot of small hardware. Oh, Vicente,
Hi,
how you doing?
great. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm late.
Oh, you're all right.
What's that?
That's the big Mechan wheel robot.
Okay,
And it is not slipping like the small toy robot does.
very smooth.
And it's very smooth.
Is it a lot heavier, Leroy?
Oh, yes. It's got 4 NEMA 17 stepper motors in it. And it's going straight, for the most part, it's going straight.
What's that on top there? Whirling lasers?
Yes. So this has an autonomous mode so that last week I was playing with it without the joystick. You hit a button and it will go all over the place. You put your hand in front of it, it'll back up or
Okay.
get out of the way. The remote shows what the laser's actually seeing. So it's drawing a little, can't really tell. It's drawing a little picture of, I think we froze. I think something froze. There it goes. So the remote, so if somebody puts something in front of the laser, it should update the display. So if somebody sticks their hand, see somebody's moving right in front. and it updated the display. And if you back up, it should have updated the display. It may be seen from a close perspective. Oh yeah, there it is. That's the blue dot is the robot. So back your drawer off. And it should, yep, there it goes.
Okay,
So there's a little lag between the video and whatever, but
okay. But the scale, it
Is-
should be seeing something quite some distance.
yeah. Oh, man. That's very hard to. There we go.
Okay,
So as you move it closer, you see it getting closer.
Oh, okay, yeah. From an aerial perspective.
Yes, it's from a overhead kind of deal. But my idea, everybody here probably is aware now. I was trying to make this little robot go wherever I wanted on this map with the Aruco tags. And this little robot, I mean, you know, if it's moving fast, it seems like it's okay-ish, but when you slow it down, it loses traction and it just goes off and does weird stuff. It doesn't go straight and it's a pain in the. It doesn't have any feedback on the motors or anything. So it's not really meant to go straight. It's a toy more than anything else. So I had thought that I was going to need to redesign the map because I thought this was so much bigger, but as it turns out, it fits pretty well in there. So I don't think I'm going to need to redesign this map to make it bigger. I mean, it's like, it takes up the entire block, but it takes up the entire block. So, and it doesn't really look like it has any problem going slow. It doesn't really look like it has any problem going fast.
That's got good traction.
Looks like it's got decent traction. I mean, I did notice, but it may be the way I'm holding the joystick. It does kind of go off a little, but that could just be operator pulling the joystick a little one way or the other.
now earlier you were talking about a CNC,
Yes,
the thing that you had sold.
yes.
About 2 years ago, a European company was offering a CNC guided router that was equipped like this one is here. But I always was reluctant to even look at it, thinking that the precision wouldn't be there. If you had a slip or a slide, that would be permanent. Because it didn't, unlike the one that they're showing that has the dominoes on the map. It didn't look like.
Later.
it was-
See you soon.
Hey, Ray.
Hello.
I hear Ray.
Yes. I
Okay.
really am at my office today.
Really?
Make your sales pitch. Ray needs to know.
Ray, do you
This-
need a fine quality set of parts bins? And are you watching?
Let me say parts bins.
Here we go.
But that's not one of them.
I gotta share it first. I clicked on the thing before I clicked on the thing. Where'd it go? Bottom, no. I want to share this.
Hey, Ray.
Share this.
Get a haircut.
Yeah,
Oh, there we go.
me too.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's not letting me share. Can you see the screen?
There it is. Yeah.
Okay, so these are they're medical cart bin assemblies. They're stackable and they've got drawers in them.
And each
Yeah.
drawer is dividable into 28 compartments. They are also free, and I have 8 sets of them.
There,
I'll take them all.
there you go.
Okay,
That
would you like them delivered in Middletown?
was easy.
If you're delivering, hey, it's great. Where are you at? I mean, I can come get them probably.
Okay, I don't have your email.
I'll give it to you.
Okay, I'll send you
Or
my address,
phone number.
and that's great. I'm super happy.
Yeah,
that
you-
you have taken it.
You probably don't want to give phone numbers and stuff since we're recording.
I understand.
Yeah.
And I wasn't asking.
He'll send you the email.
But I'll make sure you get his phone number.
And I may have it already because we had talked
Yeah.
before, but I don't remember.
I'll make sure you get it. Okay. Oh, it's right. His email address is right there. Ray did it. Ray did it. Ray doesn't care. Everybody can see it.
Yeah, I don't care.
It's a commercial mails,
My
okay?
memory is so short, I won't remember that long enough to put it in the system.
Take a picture of, take a screen capture. Can I do a screen capture? On your phone? Normally you push and hold, oh, you're not on that, that's. Take a picture. Yeah.
He's got your phone number and your email now, Ray. So
Cool. Thank you.
I knew when I suspected when I saw those Ray was the person for him. So you probably got an email from me with pretty much the same info.
That's cool.
Okay, you went away here.
What's I did? So that, anyway, that's going to work really well. I'm going to move that camera and remount it and reprogram this thing to actually do it. The laser itself is always spinning, the motor is always on. So there's no way to turn that off, but I won't need to use it for what I want to do. But that's a minor drawback to having something that actually might work. My other idea, this little guy here is a Raspberry Pi. He's a Raspberry Pi Zero in there. And Ray's iPhone wants to enter the room. Why does Ray's iPhone want to come? Oh yeah, Raspberry Pi Zeros. So the problem with this, it was programmed in Python. That's not the problem. The problem was the camera's on the front and can't look down at the thing. So I bought some prism. Some prism glasses that were for mountain climbers, so you can see up. And I cut it one in half. And I was trying to figure out how to mount it when it snapped off its thing. The camera stopped working again for some reason. Your Grand Poobah camera stopped working again.
Well,
It
I'm seeing stuff move. If the camera is not.
So when it snapped off, it took part of the plating off of it. And now it's kind of hard to see. So because of what that is, I've got another one. I've just got to be really, really careful with getting the nose piece out and not snapping it off. But I'm thinking about just sticking some magnets on this and sticking some magnets on the front of it and just magneting it down. And then it can see it actually can see the markers.
Seems to me that the number of scanners that I have taken apart have a prism in them that would be just the right size, and they're really, really good quality mirror.
Okay. That's kind of where I got the idea from. I was sitting there thinking, how can I get this camera to point down without doing a whole lot of funkiness? And I remembered that my grandmother had prisms that you could see in different directions, like around the corners and stuff. And I went, oh, this pair of glasses was $8. So cheap enough, but they weren't meant to come apart. So,
Yeah.
there's fingerprints all over it, don't worry about it. So, I had assumed that the reason that it was attached here was not because of the mirror, it was because it was using this to block the light from coming in, which it's not. It's actually using a mirror up there to achieve. These things actually worked really, really well though, when they were together. I was impressed. I was like, yeah. And when I held it just in front of the camera, I was like, oh yes, this is going to work really well. Now I need to figure out how to mount it, but it still works. It just doesn't work well. But and they make different kinds of prisms. Apparently, they make some that you can use to see around corners, some that you can use to see up and down, some that will break the light apart and turn into rainbows. And so there's a bunch of different kinds of prisms. I just happen to go, okay, the ones that look up for mountain climbing are $8. The ones that look down for reading in bed are $10. And they're exactly the same thing. Just flipped over. The bridge is turned.
Well,
I have a picture.
this is just a story that is not related to your robots.
Yes, that's it. That's the picture.
Can you see in the screen in big?
I can see, we're not seeing what it actually sees.
About 20 years ago, my niece's children were small, and I went over to their house And I had taken some things. And I said, well, here I have a tuning fork. Who would like that? And the oldest voice says, oh, I want the tuning fork. I want that. So, okay. And I pull out a prism. And the second voice says, oh, I want that. I want that. I want that. And I turned to my niece's youngest child, daughter, and said, I'm sorry, Katie, but you're gonna be stuck with this microscope. It was about a $500 scope.
There it is. That's what it's seeing.
Mhm.
So it's not a perfect picture, but it's
Two
going to work good enough.
We might have been too hasty.
Yeah, they were set up.
They were set up. Batman, yes. Ah. Here.
Sorry.
Oh, it's all right. I was thinking about just gluing that back on there and hoping for the best, but I don't think it's gonna work right. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work right.
Um, I'll try to remember when I get home. I believe I have some of those in my parts drawer.
Cool. Yeah, a decent prism that would be easier to mount than putting something apart might be better. But it was kind of a proof of concept that
Oh, yeah.
actually kind of worked. I kind of was like, oh, that worked better than I thought it would.
Clearer.
Hey, clear, yeah. So, and it was roughly the same distance, so I didn't need to redo the map or anything. I was like, oh, yes. So, but now I've got two possibilities to redo. We eliminate you, go away. And I've got two possibilities there to do something. That was controlled. This is basically the same. Oh, he's not attached. This is basically the same robot as that. It's an older, slightly older model, but it's the same robot. You can see if it's going fast. Well, even when it's going fast, it's slipping.
It looks like the pattern for darning socks.
Yes. So this one, because it's using two joysticks, I've got the scraping motion that it can do, and I've got the forward, back, and turning motion that it can do. But you can see how I'm not even moving the joystick and it's just going around in a circle.
May I feel the surface?
No, I don't want to be touched. No, don't do it. It's a really cheap Mecum wheel.
Is the tread material on the Mecum wheel the same between the big and the small robot?
No, this is more like real rubber. That's, I don't know, it's like hard plastic.
So the coefficient of friction then is substantially different between the two kinds of Mecum wheels then.
And the fact that the big one uses, good motors,
Oh, so you have better control on,
I have better control on it anyway. But see, even when I'm sort of in control of this, it doesn't really want to do what I want it to do. I'm telling it to go straight, and it's not. It's
okay.
so even when I have control, it's not really doing what I want it to do.
The algorithm looks like it's leaving one wheel not turning.
Slightly off, yes. And I compensated for that with this one a bit, but it's still it's just not. They're big commercial units either use like stepper motors or some sort of feedback to keep the wheels all moving at the same time, the same way. This little one doesn't have any kind of feedback to it. I mean, the feedback is in your eye. So if it's not doing something that you want it to do, you've got to adjust.
So you have stepper motors on the big one. What kind of motors do you have on the small one?
That's those little DC gear motors
Ah,
that each one of those, I mean, even if you get good ones, each one of them is slightly different anyway, because no gear motor is ever the same.
It's a DC motor with a worm drive on the shaft.
Yeah.
And so you would have plenty of torque and it would hold its position. But for whatever reason,
It doesn't.
well, the wheel doesn't appear to be turning as
Yeah.
it is. Now, can you make it move now?
So see, I'm not even holding the joystick. I'm letting the joystick stay in the up position or the down position. But if you put it down on the thing, one of those wheels is going to lose traction.
In lower load range, one of them loses traction. Full speed, they'll go. It gets low load, one of them will stop.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what you'd expect with El Cheapo DC motors.
Yeah. So
so you think the difference is the modem, is the motors, not the Meckham wheels?
I think it's also part of the construction. Because these, they didn't build them with like great tolerances. If you set this on a non-level surface, you will see that one of the wheels might not be touching where it should be. So there's not great tolerance there. So I put more weight on it to help push it down on the surface a little bit. I also changed so that I watched it and I figured out which wheel was going in the wrong direction. And I tried to compensate that with a different PWM value. And
So,
it sort of worked, but not really. At low speed, it just does not work well.
so the suspension system doesn't give you independent suspension for each wheel.
Right. Yeah, there really is no suspension system. I mean, they're all the same size, but tolerances being what they are, and they're mounted to plastic. So, your plastic could warp a little bit. Where this, it's still a plastic frame, but it's a heavy plastic. And they are what they are. That is a solid robot.
The lash in the gear train of
Mhm.
each of these is probably about 5 degrees at the wheel. but that wouldn't normally be a problem. The fact that the drive motor is not turning,
And there's still a little play in the wheel.
yeah,
Yeah.
and each of the rollers has play on top of that, probably a millimeter, 2 millimeters along each axle. So cumulative,
Yeah, it's bad. It's a bad,
you know,
it's bad.
it,
It's a fun toy. It's a
Yes.
toy.
it's not ready for brain surgery.
It's a toy. Whereas this one, I mean, the tolerances on these wheels, yes, there is some play in them, but it's certainly not the kind of play that the others have. And
No,
Hey, you wouldn't need the gears if you're using steppers,
yeah,
So is there a suspension system on
On
the large
that?
robot?
no, but it is built, it's very, very solid and it's built with actual tolerances in mind instead of let's play and and you know, instead of plastic holding the, oh my goodness, my $400 robot.
and I'm sorry about that. It's hard to grip onto.
Oh, no. That, you know, the wheels are being held into metal through plastic, and it's plastic where metal going to a metal shaft.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the
The
best.
bigger robot is directly on the shaft of the stepper motor. Whereas the smaller one, you've got
There's a,
6 axles.
yeah,
before-
there's a gear.
Yeah,
deal
and
going.
because of the worm drive, they're perpendicular to the drive motor.
It's a good toy. And it's not a great robot. It's a good toy. It's learning how to make this drive is going to help me in the end make this thing actually work. This is actually more complicated than this, but the two,
Yeah,
they're related. They're related enough that I can go, okay, I know why it did this or whatever, because I saw it do something with the small one. And these two are, they're slightly different. This is the old model, this is the new model. But honestly, I can't see a whole lot of, I think they've changed the processor on it, the I2C processor that's on it, and they've added this extra little piece to the front. Other than that, I don't think they've really redesigned the thing. It's just updated slightly.
What's the processor on the big robot?
There's a couple. There's an ESP32. There's a couple of basically Arduino Unos. There's one that helps the LiDAR. So there's a couple of different processors going on. And this one actually has, you know, the small one actually has a couple of different as well. It's got a motor driver, and then I think that's an Atmega 328, so it's an Uno for actual motor control. So, you know, you send I2C commands down to the Arduino, and the Arduino actually is driving the motors or the motor driver. But yeah, this is a toy. This is a toy. This is a robot.
That's a more serious toy.
Yeah.
It's still a toy, but it's more serious, much more serious.
Yeah.
I was,
Well, let's also consider that base unit without the ESP32 is I think it was $45 when I bought it. This guy was $450. Which one is real?
Which one is better?
Which one
Hard to
is better?
say.
Yeah,
If I was guessing.
You get what you pay for.
I'm not mad. I'm just.
No, I didn't mean to imply that you would, but,
Yes, you get what you pay for.
if I'm going to buy a tool to last me every day for a lifetime, I'm not gonna buy one at Harbor Freight from the Chinese.
You're not gonna pay $20 for it. You're gonna go out and buy a tool.
Yes.
Yes.
I was thinking, I could be confused, but the optical drive mechanism for CD players, and
Oh, the warm gear drive on that?
there's a worm gear, and I think it's a stepper motor that drives the worm gear. So you have a high degree of precision.
Yep,
And there's not a whole lot of play in the physical mechanism.
and if they would have taken, because those steppers are tiny, and if they would have taken those and stuck it on this, we probably wouldn't have been golden.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and as, you know, it'd only take you 3 years and $100,000 to take a stepper motor out of the CD drive. Put it in there.
I actually think I have a few of those, but it would take $100,000 for me to want to change and do that.
And then the torque would be, the torque to spin a disc is very low.
Yes.
Well, the-
How many
the disc is always spinning. It's the head that moves in those, and so the head just needs to go boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, I don't know how many tracks there are on a CD. If it's spiral, how long that is.
So the actual speed of the CD might not be that critical, as you're probably synchronizing with the stripes on the CD.
There are bits on the CD that will keep it synchronized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're probably aware, when you look at the exterior side of an optical drive, it'll say like 12x or 32x or whatever. So they have the ability of spinning up at different speeds, I think. So,
Yes, there's and there's like an encoder reel on most of the discs too, that it reads. If you look at a CD, you will see like little hash marks on the inside of it. But that doesn't compensate for, as it goes out, it gets slower. So there's on the CD, when they press a CD, they put little timing marks in there, and the drives can read the timing marks and know if they need to speed up or slow down.
it's a definite digital feedback.
Yeah.
So are we talking CDs or DVDs?
They work similar. I think the DVDs have more timing feedback on them, but it's the same sort of idea. There's little marks strung throughout the encoding process that are timing marks, and that's all they care about.
So I thought the way they worked was that the CD was just a storage medium, and you stripped the data off that and buffered it. And then the timing control was controlling the data out of the buffer, not off the CD.
Are you talking audio, or are you talking for digital for CD?
Okay.
Well, I'm talking about
We see what you're
any
saying.
digital,
The
any
sometimes
CD.
sometimes is controlled in the exit of the buffer,
Yeah.
not the input to the buffer.
Yes. So kind of who cares what the rate is coming into the buffer, because it can fluctuate all over the place, but the timing coming out of the buffer is what you really care about, because that's what's going to appear on your screen or appear in your audio or whatever.
So what we're
That
saying.
was
is
my
that
understanding of
it's
how.
not that important.
No, you're correct. And
But
it
there are
never
timing
was.
marks on
It's not like,
Well, and that's what makes it the speed of disc not being important,
it. Yeah,
because it can be going super fast and it's gonna use the timing marks and buffer it, square it up, frame it up, put it in the pipe. But if it's slower, it's just gonna do the same thing.
CDs first came out, a friend of mine said, why don't they have specs for WoW and Flutter? It's because it's independent of the speed of the rotation.
Okay.
Data.
I always thought that
Okay.
the buffer, I always thought the buffer buffered the audio so you would have less skip. So if, you know, if you jarred the CD, you get no skip from it, because the old CDs, the old players, I mean, if you just looked at it wrong, it would skip.
I think that's the oversampling as to how many times it reads the data. So that it can handle the error. And you're correct, the CD player in our 23-year-old Miata.
Would skip,
Yeah.
you just look at it wrong, it
The
skips.
spark plug misfires. And it's enough to upset the CD player.
They couldn't stand the vibration, and the head can't read while it's vibrating, I assume. And if you're oversampling, the vibration's over, and you've scanned it 5 or 6 times by the time the
Yeah,
vibration.
I always thought that that's what the buffer did, though, was keep the,
Well, the oversampling, if you oversample enough, who cares? I mean, so you have a head bounce, and you know, you're a second ahead. You read it so many times ahead, you're 10 turns ahead, who cares? And that's why you can, by improving the buffer size, or yeah,
yeah.
increasing the buffer size. Okay, so if you hit a bump, who cares?
Yeah.
Oversampling so much, we don't care anymore.
I remember I had a CD player, I think it was a Sony, and it would show how full the buffer was, and if you hit a bump, you could watch it clear the buffer out. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it was kind of cool, except that once the buffer got cleared out, if you hit another bump, it skipped anyway, so. It took it like a full second to load up that buffer. So, but that's what I always thought the buffer did, was keep it from.
Okay, we need to talk about meeting days. And our excitement to going back to Thursdays for 2023 is pretty much dead. Okay, erase everything. Clear your mind for 2023. Everybody like, everybody like. I've been fighting this for a month now. So the latest thing, we have a new limitation. It looks like the library wants you to meet twice a month. Okay.
They're putting a limit on how many times you can get the room.
A single member can schedule a room for 2 times a month.
Really?
Yes.
That's what it looks like, yeah.
I was talking to Ellen, the girl up at Monroe, and she was in charge of scheduling it, and she said, well, 2 members could schedule 4 meetings a month, and it looks like they want us to the regular group would be 2 meetings a month. And we talked about options. One of the options is Leroy schedules 2 meetings in Monroe, and I schedule 2 meetings in Westchester, and we could keep Thursday night. It'd just be where. Okay, and then, or we could move the meetings to Tuesday night and then me and Leroy, or whoever could schedule two, and I would schedule two every month.
Now, let me ask a more fundamental question. Are we impeding other people from using the room, or is it simply going to sit idle?
Well, that is what I've been working on. And one of the reasons we moved to Thursday night is because the librarian asked us, in Middletown, could we go to Wednesday night or could we do another night? Because they had a conflicting schedule. And I didn't see anybody in the schedule. Of course, we can't see the schedule. They don't let us look at the schedule. We can ask. And in fact, Ellen was very gracious in telling me who was in what time slot now. So I kind of got an idea of what's going on. And I said, okay, and I let her know, and I let everybody know that we talked to, we will work it out. We just need to know what you need, and we will work around it. And we're always very flexible in that. And the conflict is with the knitting group and with the book club. So it looks like they want to meet twice a month on Thursday night here. Okay, and Leroy suggested today that maybe we just meet semi-monthly. Or bi-monthly it could mean two things, but
Yeah, I know it could. It could
Twice a
be, it
month.
could mean several things.
yeah, I think you meant twice a month.
Twice a month, yeah.
So what do you guys think? Or we could go to Tuesday night.
I'm opposed to changing again because I've already got everybody in my family set up on Thursday.
Okay,
So I'm
so we
opposed
go
to
to
changing the dates again, but
so Thursday night on a Thursday night here twice a month.
we always still have the option to do virtual. But I'm kind of thinking, with changes of everything that's happened over the past couple of years, maybe twice a month. And then, we've got a little bit more time to do some projects and do some demos and stuff.
I enjoy being able to pick up stuff and taste it.
Yeah,
I can't do that.
virtually. Yeah,
I've been wondering what those teeth marks were.
It's the lick marks that you have to worry about.
Oh, yeah.
From my standpoint, it doesn't matter because we only have one computer set up with a camera at home. And it happens to be, that is when my wife uses the machine for her Quaker meeting. And so
You can use your phone, by the way.
presuming I know how to do that.
Well, it's not any harder than this, really. It's really brain dead. It's even brain dead, easier to use than this thing.
But again, I prefer
Yeah,
an in-person thing. Having had COVID over the Christmas holidays, I don't want to do that again.
no?
yeah.
Really?
That is one reason why virtual is still it's still a good option because, if you are sick or if I'm sick or Jim's sick, we don't have to meet, we can still do this thing.
Yeah. Okay, so for now,
But
for right now, we're going to throw it up in the air. We're gonna go with Leroy's thing, his proposal twice a month. Now, eventually, that's our goal. We're not gonna go there immediately. Okay, and I say that because I've already got some stuff scheduled. And
Yeah.
and
it just seems like that's the direction the library is pushing everybody, not just us. They're
well,
pushing everybody.
it's not necessarily the library, it's the other customers. we're working, I wanted to talk to the other customers. And we couldn't do that before, but I'm kind of getting there and figuring out what their needs are and letting them know, telling through Ellen. Jim says, whatever, we work this out, we'll get it worked out where everybody's happy. And that's all I've always been our take. And I told her, if you need to move somebody in when we're in here, tell us and we'll move out. And we had that happen before, we moved out. They had conflicts before we moved out, not many times, but it's happened, we moved out.
I agree with your philosophy completely. I would rather be moved out because someone needs the room than to arbitrarily set up something. But the room doesn't need to sit empty.
Yeah. And also, if eventually, we may think about moving to another night based on scheduling everything. Eventually, thinking, not immediately, none of this is fixing concrete. We're not talking concrete now. We're talking jello. Okay. And eventually we could like move it to Tuesday and nobody uses it on Tuesday. Nobody. But so for now, our target is, we try to work it out for Thursdays. Right now, we got Thursday set up. And we go down the Thursday trail as long as we can go and make sure we're not conflicting with other people. Right now, we're set up for Thursday, the 19th. Okay, so next meeting, Thursday, is here.
If I could comment, and I don't have a big part of making this decision. I'm the only person who's making a comment.
Sure, everybody gets a vote here.
As long as it's consistently the same time and the same day of the week, I can accommodate. I can't accommodate it being Tuesday this week
Yeah,
and Wednesday next week and another day the week after.
yeah, I don't think anybody wants that. I think
No.
we want it all on the same day.
As
at
consistent
5
as we can
o'clock.
get it.
And that's just because of my mental capacity of being able to plan and think about
Well,
Yeah.
what I'm
Now
gonna do
looking at your
next week.
calendar and going like,
My-
the third
mine is-
Tuesday of the month, I'm busy and.
mine is more, I've got the grandkid now, so it's gotta be, because they can schedule their work off, so they have the grandkid, and I don't have the grandkid, so it's gotta be
Consistent.
Thursday. It doesn't matter if it's every other Thursday, but Thursday, it's gotta be Thursday.
So on the other Thursdays, we just go to your house.
Sure. I'm not, I don't care, whatever. There is a possibility, though it's unlikely and probably a very slim chance. We could get a room in Monroe or Trenton. Trenton's got a really nice library. Middletown's got a decent library. But I like you, I want the consistency, because I mean, if you're changing libraries every week, it's the same deal, right? I mean, you got to think, am I at Middletown or am I at Westchester? If we're consistently here,
And because Trenton is,
Trenton's
what
out,
interstate goes through Trenton?
Trenton's out there a little bit, yes, but it's a
Interstate
nice
goes through
library.
Monroe. We're right off the exit up the road.
Trenton's out there. I'll admit Trenton's out there, but
Okay, so
It's-
for now, we're gonna try to aim at sticking with Thursdays
at Westchester,
at Westchester.
yeah.
And it's gonna be on and off, and we'll either be here or we'll be virtual. Okay, but if you look at my agenda, and you can go to my agenda from the meeting announcement, at the bottom, you see the preliminary schedule. And we've got date schedule. What we got scheduled is the 19th, the 26th, we're virtual. February 2nd, we got. And February 9th, we got. And March 2nd and March 9th, we got.
And your announcements are wonderfully clear as to whether it's in person or virtual.
You hear that, Art?
Yeah,
Just at a quick glance.
Wonderfully clear.
if,
Yeah.
if I may,
To study it in great
Yep.
detail, I know.
And it could.
Go ahead.
As a reminder.
okay, here's my personal experience. Something that happens every week is easy to program in my brain. But I'll give you an example, a practical example that happens in our family. We have a family Zoom session set up for every other Sunday. And every Sunday, my wife and I say, is today a Zoom or is it next week? And we've been doing this for, I don't know, 2 years now, something like that. And it's much easier to keep track of a schedule that happens every week than one that happens once a month or twice a month or whatever. And I'll give you another example. I attend on an irregular basis Steve Jones
It's
Linux user group. It's once a month, and I gotta tell you,
That's the problem.
about 3 times out of 4, I wake up on Saturday morning and say, is this
Today.
it or is it next week? And I miss at least
then.
every other meeting because of that. It's, you know, it's like going to work. If you go every day, it's easy. But when I was teaching, I would have teaching schedules that were like Tuesday, Thursday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And even that was confusing because I'd think, gee, you know, is today PLC or is today programming? The same thing, you know, a once a week schedule is an easy thing to remember, but anything that is every other week or twice a month or whatever, if it's twice a month, then how's it work out when you've got a 5-week month? It's the same thing. So I would come back to the principle, let's keep it simple.
Okay, and I agree with that. I see your point, and it's a valid, I agree. And I think that's why long-term, say, looking for 2024 or last half of 2023, we're thinking of maybe going to Tuesday.
Did you see what Ray wrote there? Eventually. Of course, eventually could be far off down the road, but
And what interstate goes by your building?
yeah, but his isn't real hard to find.
No, it's just,
It's out
you
there.
can't get there from here.
The lights at Kind in Middletown, you can make every light if you go 6 miles an hour or 625 miles an hour.
Oh, really?
Well, Ray, I think stays closer to 625.
Now, this is humor, and I know we're in the middle of discussion here, but if we wanted to be consistent, we could measure the days from Easter. Because there's a formula for figuring out when Easter is,
Yep.
and it changes every year.
Okay, yeah.
And then the Orthodox have another formula for figuring out what Easter is. So you just have to figure out whether this is Orthodox Easter or.
Gotta start going to church now?
Oh, you need to, you got it.
The point is, it needs to be simple and consistent. Whatever you guys come up with that is simple and consistent makes me a happy person.
And the
The
50
problem is we haven't been overly consistent for probably the past year because sometimes we're virtual and sometimes we're not.
And yeah, we had issues.
Consistency is it's a nice goal.
Yeah, and we long term, we are looking at consistency. We're getting out of the way of the knitting club and the book club. Okay, and
I'm not
going for
complaining. I think
choose.
you
Yeah,
guys have done
yeah.
an admirable job.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, as the goal, that's my number one priority.
and also we should try to keep from driving Jim or Leroy crazy. I mean, crazier than they are, realizing that's a moving target there. But yeah.
And I don't mind doing the virtual meetings, but it's not real consistent. I mean, obviously, if one of us isn't feeling good or whatever, that's a good time to do a virtual meeting. But
So
I'd much rather come down here because I get all the feedback, you guys get to see junk and we get junk and we get to take junk home and.
So we're gonna
But-
be inconsistent till the end of the school year here.
Yeah,
So Thursdays, I'll let you know and try to get it out, what, Art, 3 minutes before meeting schedule?
Oh, yeah, that works for me.
the only reason why I even suggested going, twice a month was because of the way they wanted to have the scheduling done. It seems like that's what they're pushing for, so I was kind of like, well, maybe it would work. I mean, but I was in my mind, I was thinking like the first and the second, or not the second, the first and the third Thursdays.
Now, it looks
But-
like it looks like the book club is maybe the third Thursday.
Yeah, exactly. So even my idea of going twice a month wouldn't work.
It'd
real
be
well.
the first and the second Thursday.
Yeah,
would be
it's
us.
kind of crazy.
Yeah,
And the fifth
and that's why
Thursday.
we're thinking long-term going to Tuesday,
The
because there's nobody there.
the ham radio club that I meet with now meets on Wednesday, the second Wednesday of every month. So, they're consistent on the second Wednesday, once a month on the second
Yeah,
Wednesday.
yeah.
So,
So right now, we're gonna stick with two meetings a month on Thursday,
Thursday is good. I like Thursdays.
and we'll try to discuss it every meeting, and I'll put a meeting announcement if we change from that Thursday morning. We'll make sure, we'll put the meeting announcement out as to whether it's gonna be virtual and whether it's gonna be real. And it'll always be here for now.
And if we get it done within 13 rounds of voting, we're ahead of the game, right?
Yes.
I don't have the speed.
I
So
don't know,
next-
they did, the past 2 years have just been screwed up, so
Yeah,
there's nothing new about this, it's just been screwed up. It's trying to figure out how to fix it.
Snafu.
Yeah.
Well, once you disrupt the schedule, it takes time for it to settle down.
To come back,
And the last couple of years have been extremely disruptive.
yeah.
Not by any of us choosing to do that.
Yeah,
1 million people have died over this. And it, compared to their loss, ours is pretty good.
yeah. No, I agree. Us being inconvenienced is very small compared to everything else, so.
oh, okay, and Art, Wise launches a new $34 pan tilt zoom camera.
I
for
saw that.
Indoor, outdoor.
Yep.
It's in the news if you want to read that.
Yeah, I'm thinking about ordering another one, but I've already got about 40 of them, so
Oh, okay.
You know, it's,
Art's going as crazy as you are, Jim,
I don't know.
with cameras.
He try to catch up. Yeah, he may try to catch up, but I'm pretty crazy.
well, you've got the bird cameras, which I really like.
Ray wants to go 435 miles an hour.
Oh,
That was his GPS.
On an airplane. Yeah, so that seems about right on an airplane.
That's kind of slow for a jet.
Were
Have
you slowing-
seen the Blackbird pilots, little commentary about their contact with the air traffic controllers?
No.
They're above controlled space, but they still communicate with air traffic controllers. And the gentleman who's describing this says, yeah, we just kind of log air time, so we'll fly from Southern California to Seattle, and then we'll go out to the Midwest and we'll come back. And he said, we monitor what's going on. So this gentleman gets on the radio to the air traffic controllers and he says, could you give me a speed check, please? And they are very accommodating and give this little Cessna pilot an airspeed check. And the other guy comes on and he's got a twin engine craft and, well, can you give me a speed check? And they do, they're very consistent. And he said this F-18 pilot comes on. And he says, you could tell he's Navy just by the way he speaks. And he says, he asked for an airspeed check. He says, yeah, he's just showing off at this point because he's got $1 million heads-up display in front of him. He knows exactly what his ground speed is. But they accommodating and they tell him that their ground speed is like 800 miles an hour, right? 10 miles. And he says, then I heard my backseat operator click the microphone. And I said, oh no. And he says, can we get an airspeed or ground speed check here? And the guy says, well, it looks like it's about 4,000 miles an hour. And he says, well, we're closer to 4,100 on our display. They said all of that was to take the F-18 pilot and say, look,
yeah.
you don't have the best boy there.
You got nothing, yeah.
Anyway, if you have the chance, they do a very nice job. And simply look up air or land speed check.
Those crazy Air Force pilots and Navy pilots.
I don't think I will have to worry about doing 435 miles an hour to get to the library.
I think your GPS is holding you back, Ray. Man.
What kind of plane was it, Ray? Do you know what kind of plane it was?
I don't know what kind it was. I don't remember. It was probably 5 years ago. That's when I actually carried a dedicated Garmin GPS, and I was taking it with me when I rented cars. I actually like having a dedicated GPS in the window. But I just happened to have seen it in my carry-on luggage, and I was like, I wonder how fast we're going. So I turned it on, stuck it in the window, and it registered how fast we were going at that moment. And then the stewardess is like, you need to put that away because that, transmits and receives radio signals. And I was like, whatever, okay. So.
I thought they were passive, that they didn't communicate with anything.
Well, mine had a Bluetooth component in it that I don't know how to turn it off, but whatever.
they don't want even passive electronics.
Hmm.
You must have been about ready to land, because that's usually when they want all the electronics turned off.
I don't remember. It was,
Yeah. That's usually when they freak out about that stuff.
I remember it was dark and I was looking at us flying over cities pretty fast. And you can see all the lights from the cities. And I was just like, holy crap, if it takes us like 15 seconds to pass this city, we got to be cruising. But I don't remember if we had a headwind or a tailwind or whatever, but it was moving along.
Well, I think Art's right. Most jets fly faster than that, but on landing, they'll slow down. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah, they don't land at 500 miles an hour. They land at 170 knots, something like that, when they go over the fence. And once they get close to the ground, they got the flaps out, so it slows pretty fast.
most jets are around 550, 570 miles an hour.
You know, the issue here though is ground speed. And depending on whether you got a headwind or a tailwind, that can make a heck of a difference.
Yeah.
If you figure the trip to the airport,
Oh, it's 7 o'clock, guys.
The
nobody's
TSA
telling me.
is waiting to take off into your total travel time. It ain't 435 miles an hour.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Take care, guys. See you
All right.
next week.
Bye.
Call you, Ray.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.